Mrs. Tui. I teach ceramics at Doherty Valley. I wanted to talk about what the students learn in the class and kind of how I assess what they're doing. So in beginning ceramics, they're learning the different methods. So they learn about pinch pot, slab, and coil construction. And then how I assess in the class is what we do. They show their process. So I don't grade on product. I don't look at their finished piece and look at, oh, the glaze ran here, oh, there's a crack there, and mark down. What we do is they show their process on a process page. They're showing their inspiration. So they're going out and they're finding things that they want to make. Then they develop their idea, so they're sketching out their idea and talking about what they're thinking about making. Then they create their piece, which might change from their developments, and they talk about that and reflect on what happened while they were making their piece. And then they reflect on their piece and talk about all the things that happened and all the things that they learned while they were making their piece.
So I'm going to talk to you about our ceramics program here at Doherty. It is a really active class, so students are, they start in their sketchbooks or in their notebooks making a design plan, thinking about what it is that they want to create. The teachers will give parameters of assignments and tasks and skills that they need to try to show, and then the students get to create their own pieces from hand building or wheel throwing all the way through the glazing process. What's different about ceramics compared to, say, computer graphic arts? Those are two very different classes. So computer graphic arts is also an arts class at our school. That would be all in a computer lab, relatively stationary, so you wouldn't be up moving around much. Yes, you're still going to get your art credit, but it's all going to be through the lens of the computer. Whereas ceramics, honestly, the kids don't sit down a lot. Like they're up, moving, gathering supplies, working on their feet. I kind of describe it as like a beehive, like everyone's sort of active and moving all the time. That also differs from, say, a drawing class, which is what I primarily teach, where kids are a little bit more stationary. So I would say like learning styles for kids, when you're thinking about what you're signing up for, if you're a really kinesthetic and active person that enjoys getting your hands wet, getting them dirty, ceramics is a great choice. If you prefer computer-based programs, ceramics is probably not going to be your favorite class. We don't wear jewelry. We have got to wear our hair back. We walk out with clay sometimes on our clothes. We've got to wear aprons. So like it's a really physical class. Personal connections that I have. So I took a ceramics class in high school, though it was an awful experience. The teacher that I had was a long-term sub, and my like regular teacher, the teacher I signed up to be with, was out on like a medical leave. So I had a sub who did not know anything about ceramics and let us access the materials but didn't really teach us how to use them. So I didn't really get a great ceramics experience until college. And but even at that, I was a drawing painting focus. So I only took a couple ceramics classes in college. I actually got a lot better and more interested in ceramics by teaching it here, and taught myself how to throw on the wheel. Miss Tui, who is our art colleague here, she taught me a lot just by modeling what to do, what not to do. And I just learned a lot over time, just from trial and error, which is sort of the best way that artists learn. Ups and downs of the class, I would say And up is like, it goes by really fast. The time flies when you're active and when you are busy and you're creating and you're excited, you get to use your product. It's not just a like aesthetic thing to look at. You actually make functional pieces. So vases, cups, plates, boxes, like little keepsake things. So that's also a really different takeaway than maybe making a painting that you will enjoy, but you won't be like utilizing it at the dinner table. So that's, I think like that's a perk. That's an up for the class. It's also a class where like everyone is all over the board and very different. The type of kid that signs up, it'll be freshmen through seniors. It's everyone's first experience typically. So it's like a very happy class, happy environment, and a lot of new connections being made. Some of the downs is that it's fragile. Ceramics, they're delicate. It does take a lot of care to not break things, and you have to pay attention and listen to the clay. If it's drying out too much, it's going to crack, it'll get brittle. It can shatter, of course, in the kiln if it's got an air pocket. So there's, a process that you go through in making the piece that could not work out in the end. And that could be a little disappointing, but you can always make it again. And that's also part of the learning process. There's always a reason for something exploding. And it's usually on the artist that made it. It's usually something like wasn't structural integrity wasn't quite there. So I'd say those are the downs. It would be like dropping a wet painting on the floor and having the whole thing smear. It's like, oh man, that's a big bummer. But other than that, I'd say there aren't really many other downs. It's a great class. All of the art classes are great. You just have to think about like what's going to suit your personality and learning style. Okay.